guys, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me for episode 4 of season 7 of Inspiration. That's my podcast about knitting, about yarn dyeing. If you're new to the podcast, I'm Christelle, I'm a dyer. I live in France, and I have a online shop with a shop update today at 5. The podcast is uploaded every Monday at 5, and there's a newsletter sent out every Monday at 5. Everything happens on Mondays at 5 Paris time, 5 p.m. And if you are a returning viewer or a friend, hi, how you doing? It's so nice to be back with you for another episode. So last week I had a live episode. That's a bit... I'm touching the limits of having this bilingual thing in the podcast, because when I do the live episode, I cannot speak two languages at once at the same time. So that's why there's only a French version of the live, and for which I'm very sorry. But I wanted to catch up with you just to give you a quick update. News are not so good. My mother was admitted in the hospital more than 2 weeks ago with a stroke. I think it's a stroke, like cerebral stroke. So she's been in hospital for more than 2 weeks now. She's getting slowly better. It's not optimal. We hoped that she would be out of the hospital last week, and you know, go to a facility for her to facilitate her recovery, but she was not fit to go to that facility yet. She has to stay in the hospital, mainly because she's not very stable on her feet. So, but all in all, she is her status is stable, which is good, which is very reassuring. Now it's just a matter of time for you know, the side effect of a stroke to pass, and for the hematoma to reduce. But it's been a really like a roller coaster of emotions this past weeks. And on top of that, I caught the cold. Maybe it was like a bug at the hospital, or maybe like the kids, I don't know. It was like I have kind of a flu syndrome, or I'm getting... Today is a good day. I've been really down all week, under the weather all week. Today's better. My voice is still a bit off. Maybe you can hear I'm still feeling a bit short of breath, but my energy levels are like really up, which is good. Feeling very good. So this is for the update that I gave last week. For those of you who sent kind messages of well wishes for my mother, thank you so much. Fingers crossed she will be out of the hospital very soon, and she will be getting better. It's very scary, these strokes. It's very, very scary. It's not the first that she has. We're fortunate in that she doesn't have too severe aftermath. You know, she can still speak and walk and all, so she just has some problem of short-term memory, but all in all, it's not too bad. I know some strokes can be literally devastating when they're not lethal, so I think we can call us lucky, even if it's not really, you know, happy news. Okay, so next week I have a fiber show, so I won't be in Madrid, because there is this French fiber show at the same time, which I've attended that show for the past 2 years, and it was an important rendezvous for me. But I've already decided if next year it's again on the same weekend, next year I will be flying to Madrid, if they have me, of course. So it's going to be, you know, every other year if there's another conflict of dates. And so I still managed to, you know, work in the studio, dye as usual, with the help of Ixchel, the person who is working with me, and we managed to work as planned. and I worked in the morning and I rested in the afternoon, slept a lot more, so I'm super late on everything that's not dying related. So if you're expecting an answer from me, it's coming. I'm just super late on emails and all, as usual, I might say. And also one thing that I interpreted as a maybe because I was tired, or I don't know, instead of coming up with 2 colorways this month, I came up with 4. Okay, so it's not that I was too tired, or I wasn't able to just decide and make my choice. I really wanted to explore these 2 creative avenues for February, so there's twice as many colors this month. So instead of sharing a mood board like I used to, I'm just going to talk you through the inspiration. But I want to share with you the first colorway. Well, maybe I will show you all the colorways first. I've just filmed the French version and everything is all over the place right now. I should have done that prior to starting with recording the podcast. Sorry about that, guys. It's going to be done in a minute. Bear with me. Oops. Up, up, up. There you go. So, yeah. These are the colorways for this month. Okay, so 4 of them. And 2 very different inspirations. I think that the first colorway that I want to talk to you about is the official February colorway for the Soleil Almanac. And it's called Wintering. And here it is. So this is Wintering. Let's say the official one, okay? And the inspiration from this one came from a podcast that I watched in January. And that really struck a chord. It was about the concept of wintering, basically, because, you know, sometimes for me as well, in the northern hemisphere of the globe, this time of year can be a bit difficult because less daylight, longer nights, and even the light is different. There's not much sun, a lot of rain, a lot of snow. We had quite a lot of snow this year. Our garden turned into a big it's mud. It's just mud everywhere, at the point that we have difficulty driving out of the garden, of the yard, actually. So yes, not very, yeah, it's our first winter in Normandy on the countryside. And so this podcast about wintering, this vlog actually about wintering, really struck a chord because it was all the ways you can, you know, adapt your routine and still enjoy your days in the middle of winter. And I love that idea. And what I loved the most is that all the it's a bit like regressive a bit, because all the colors she used and all the decorations she used for Christmas were handmade, and she had those lovely eucalyptus branches and fir and pine cones and orange slices, dried up orange slices. It was very, very lovely. So I tried to capture the spirit of wintering in that colorway with a very delicate pace, with a very light you know, touches of color, like this cold green and very soft oranges, and then a dash of speckles just to liven up the colorway. And I really love how it turned out. Yeah, and so the contrasting color, it's not very contrasting, it's more like a complementing color, is called Soleil d'hiver. That would be winter sun or winter sunlight, more exactly. And it's this lovely pale yellow with just hints of oranges and pink. And it's a really delicate colorway, very light and bright. And it's not very, you know, not very vivid, not very saturated, just like the light, the sunlight in winter. It's very soft. And yeah, I just wanted to capture this idea of winter sunlight. So here it is for the first two colorways. As you can see, kind of soft and yeah, sweet. And then there was another idea that I had for February. I wanted to explore like very vivid pinks, okay? And I thought I had this song by Donna Summer, Hot Stuff, and I literally sang to it while dyeing this colorway, and it's the name of the colorway, it's Hot Stuff, and it's your Valentine color, okay? So this is a non-official colorway for February. It's called Hot Stuff, and I invite you just to sing along for this one, okay? It's so good. Kind of think of this colorway as sexy, actually. If a colorway could be that, this would be it. So a bunch of different bases. Sorry guys, I'm not still myself, a bit tired. That was beautiful in silk. This is Stellina and this is MCN. Okay. And the one I wanted to go along with this one is Toxic, like Britney Spears, Toxic. Okay, and again, I had the song while dyeing this one. And that's my Valentine colors. I never had any Valentine colors, so here they are. Okay, so it's different shades of green, starting with very fluorescent neon green as a base, and different shades of green and then speckles, like pink and purple speckles, which kind of look like a bit brown, because you know when you have purple on green, it does look kind of a bit brown. And so, not at all the same vibe. You see why I had some trouble choosing? I mean, not at all the same vibe. Totally different vibes. I didn't want to choose. I didn't want to keep one for next year. It's not how I work. I'm really in the moment inspirations. Usually I have the inspirations for my colorways like in the morning, just prior driving to the studio and dye them. So yeah, couldn't choose. Here they are. So think of those as the official. If you ordered the 3 months color almanac, 3 months almanac for January, February and March, you would get those for February. So that would be the almanac and the contrasting one. And if you want to get those, you have to pick them up in the shop directly today or later this week. Quantities are up because Michelle is helping me out now. And there should be plenty, okay? And if you have the subscription for 3 months and you really want to get the other one, the non-official one, just drop me a message. I'll do my best, okay? Okay, and so in terms of projects, because I've not been feeling myself really, and I've been really worried and all, I picked up, I think, the most comforting project there is. It's my Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart. It's the no-brainer, and it's really something that I enjoy knitting on when my mind is otherwise occupied and I don't want to, you know, pay too much attention to what I just want to escape in gazillion stitches, knit stitches, and this is perfect. And I'm using all my Almanac colorway since the very beginning, in January 2021. This is all the the first 2 years of the Almanac, and I'm this is actually, I've started dyeing 2 colors per month starting January 2023. So this is Cocooning and Home Sweet Home. So this is January 2023. This is where I'm at on this project. And then because on the other end of the spectrum of not using your brain, I've decided to knit myself a Ixchel. Okay, that's this. Oh my god, this is my own Everest mountain of knitting. This is where I'm at. I've frogged a bit because this is kind of difficult, because you see you have this bit in the back, short rows, and then you have another motif in the front, a panel, and usually you don't have little stranded colorwork. You have some rows when you don't have those at all, but you still have the front and back panels to work. And I've tried to do regular stranded knitting, but when you don't have any stitches of the contrasting color for, like, you know, all this, there were no stitches, just here and here. It wasn't looking good on I think I did 4 rows, 4 rounds. Wasn't looking good at all. You could see through the places where I catched the floats, and the tension wasn't good, and it was ugly. Okay, I know you shouldn't judge when it's not blocked yet, but I could see that the tension was off, and I could see through the other color. So I frogged that part. And then I went online on Ravelry to see other knitters' notes, and that's why I love Ravelry so much, because so many knitters have knitted this project and have added notes, and some of them I found very helpful. I've decided to completely change the way they knitted that sweater and do Intarsia instead of regular stranded knitting for those parts, and they included even included links to the relevant YouTube tutorial for that technique, that's knitting Intarsia with the floats. And I'm going to change berries. I forgot to press record. So I was telling you guys that this is, I think, the most complicated and ambitious project I've ever embarked on. And I'm going to actually use you and use the podcast as kind of a diary of this project, share with you my progress and the resources, for example, the links that some knitters shared for the tutorial, like knitting Intarsia with the floats and that kind of thing. And if you wish to jump on the train and take this occasion to knit along with me, I am not telling you that I will knit on this super regularly and I will make super steady progress. I'm not saying that, but if you wish to, you know, embark on this adventure with me and knit your own, I'd be happy to do that alongside you. Anyway, I think you've got the meaning. Yeah, so this week my objective is to watch all the tutorials on that technique and just try it out. I think I understand the you know, how it's supposed to work. There is some nitty-gritty details, like how you're supposed to catch the things so you don't have big gaps, and also I'm a bit concerned about the, you know, I think you can easily see where I catch my floats, and I don't like that, because I'm going to I think when I'm going to wear this, it's going to be stretched a bit, and so the floats I'm going to, yeah, I think they're going to show, right? I don't know. And it's a seven stitches. You definitely have to catch the floats. Yeah, any insights? Any ideas? Am I doing one thing wrong, or is it correct, you think? Or I think they're not too tight. I think the tension is good, but they show. Anyway. So in terms of books, I read mainly in English. Because I love that. I like to read in the natural language when I can, when in the you know, in the language the book was written, when I can. I'm not fluent in so many languages, but at least English, French, a bit of German, when I can. I like to do that. So mainly the books that I read are in English, because I'm more of a sci-fi girl, horror girl, sci-fi girl, and there is not much literature in French in that genre. Less than in English, definitely. So I wanted to share with you just 2 books that I read lately that I loved. The first one is Lock-In by John Scarsey, which is becoming fast one of my favorite authors, and I really enjoyed the complexity of the world he built, and how in depth it goes with his ideas. Like, this idea is that a virus swept the entire planet. That might sound familiar, but it was way more lethal than COVID, and the aftermath were horrible. Like, I think 1/3 of the population experienced the lock-in syndrome. That means that your body is not responding. It's like you're in a coma, but your mind is awake, but your mind isn't able to control your body. And so because it was such a huge problem for so many people, there was a lot of fundings, and after a few years, technology to enable lock-in people to continue and keep on, you know, living life quasi-normal was achieved. Like, with a neural implant, they were able to project their consciousness in robots or in other humans who also had a neural implant. And all that is well and good, okay? But the strength of the author is that he takes this and then he goes very, very deep in all the consequences of this and the ethical aspects and criminal what kind of crimes could be committed using that technology. It was incredibly good because this is barely the surface when you summarize the plot like this. It's you're barely scratching it, and it goes so deep within the political aspects of the thing, and it's absolutely incredible the work he did. And what I really loved about this book is that it's actually a thriller. It's like a detective story of a lock-in person investigating murders with a human able to receive consciousness from a lock-in person. So the two are working together, like a bit like, it's like a true detective season, which I'm watching. I'm watching season 4 right now. I'm loving it with Jodie Foster. It's like a true detective, but in a completely different period of, like, in the future, with completely different rules and regulations, and a bit like Demolition Man. I don't know if you remember that movie with Sylvester Stallone, and it was in the future where everything had changed, and it's a bit like that, okay? But it's so good, so good. So there is another, there is a follow-up to this, sequel, this book, which is called Head On, which I'm planning to read soon. But that's the first book I wanted to talk to you about. And then the two other ones are in the same genre. It's by Martha Wells. It's a woman, and it's pure sci-fi again, okay? But so good. And it's about this cyborg. You just picture like Terminator, okay? Terminator. but he's introverted, he's super shy, he loves human beings, like loves like you love, not, he likes human beings, he likes being around them but not being with them. He likes you watching them interact but not interacting with them. He doesn't want to look people in the eye, okay? And he's kind of, you know, super sweet, and I love that book so much. So it's not really, it's not a full book. It's like an audiobook. It's like 3.5 hours. And I actually loved the main character of the Murderbot. That's his name, Murderbot. That's self-named. He named himself Murderbot, or itself. And the first book was so good. Actually, it was free on Audible with my membership. So it's not a sponsor. I'm not sponsored by Audible. Okay, it's anyway. The book was so good, and I love that it was a woman writing it. So good. And then on the same day, because I had a lot of work in the studio yesterday, I read both book 1 and 2 in the Murderbot Diaries. So the first one was All Systems Red, I think, and the second one is I don't know, I'm going to put the covers here. I forgot the names, but both were so good. And the I think that what I loved also was you kind of find some horror genre tropes in there. For example, in the first book, at one point they have to go and check on another, how do you say that, you know, it's like they're on a planet with no one, okay? No one is on the planet. And there are 2 missions exploring the planet, but they are, it's like one is in Australia and the other one is in Canada, okay? They're that far away, and they are the only 2 human activities on the planet. And they constantly talk to each other. And at some point, and they each have cyborgs, like they each have terminators with them to ensure their security. And the one with the hero, the Murderbot, at one point loses contact with the other mission, okay? And they're like, what is going on? How is it possible? So they decide to check on them. So take the big chopper and go all around half the planet just to reach them and understand why they're not picking up the call and not... And all that part, exploring the mission, finding out what happened, it's so much horror. Not like it's disgusting and a lot of bloods and everything. It's much more like in the thriller way, lots of suspense, and you're with them exploring. Why are they not answering? What happened? You know, it was absolutely great, absolutely great. And I think that it's the perfect genre for me, just at the junction between horror and thriller and sci-fi with a lot of humor in there. The main character, this Murderbot, I mean, it could be my best friend, really. I felt so connected to it. So it was very, very, very good, and I'm really happy to be able to read sci-fi from a woman, woman author. So good, because let's face it, usually the big titles in sci-fi, the one everyone knows about, male writers, right? So that's good, that's so good, and I really enjoyed that so much. So I've already started book 3, this Rogue Protocol, I think, and I mean the science is good as well. And my main, I think that the characters that I love the most are the artificial intelligence, not the humans. Definitely the artificial intelligence characters are the best. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I will be very happy to see you again, not next week, because I will be driving back from Ixchel, that's the next Farbe show in Lorraine, that's just below Luxembourg. So next episode will be on January the 19th. So in the meantime, take care, happy knitting. Let me know if you want to knit along and embark on this adventure with me. And I'll see you then. Bye!